Speaking of what we were just talking about, you said you need to see this film in the cinema.
Definitely,
because it
the
is
cinema.
magnificent. Can you talk about the preparation you personally did to film a movie this magnitude?
Well, I didn't personally. I mean, there's a load of people involved, you know. I mean, there was a lot of conversation with Sam starting off, a lot of storyboarding, talking ideas, trying to figure how the camera's going to relate to the actors, like you do on any movie, I suppose, but we had to do it all up front. And then there was a lot of rehearsing with the actors before we could build any sets or dig a trench. And we had to rehearse, we had to figure out all the distances we needed things to be, you know. So it was a lot of prep, but a lot of people involved, you know, a lot of talented people.
And how long was the prep?
Somebody said it was like we started rehearsing with the actors maybe 6 months beforehand. Now, it wasn't every day. We'd do a bit of rehearsing and then other things would happen and they'd come back and we'd do something else. And I in between, I would be testing equipment and then and it all just gradually built up until the point of the shoot. And strangely, the shoot was quite straightforward because by the time we got there, we'd seen all the sets had been built, we'd rehearsed all the shots, we'd chosen all the pieces of equipment to do the shot. So really, the hardest thing was waiting for the right light, you know.
That was the hardest thing out of. That was my next question.
Yeah.
That was the most difficult thing, was the weather.
It was. It was for me because I don't care. Sam was saying, Roger, it's a lot of people worrying, but you don't have to worry about the weather by yourself. It's me that's got the light meter. It's me. It felt like it was. That was my worry, the weather. Yeah.
That's funny because you would imagine that it would be so many other things, but I guess the weather, with one continuous shot, you need the weather to be perfect.
Yeah, but also the feel of the film, I wanted it in grey sky.
Overcast.
Just the look of it, you know.
I've never seen a film like this before where I've been anxiety ridden the entire time.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So when did you?
It's a good thing.
It is a positive thing, but the whole time I was like this the entire time.
Yeah, it's interesting.
When did you first decide to make this a one continuous shot?
Oh
film?
no, I didn't.
Collaboratively. Okay, so he called you.
Yeah, Sam wrote it with this in mind. I didn't find out till he sent me the script, and it's written on the first page. You know, this is envisioned as a single shot. And I'm going, well, is that just a sort of like flowery description of something to sell it to the studio? I don't know. But then, you know, reading it and seeing it was a real-time, you know, real-time story, and the fact that two guys are kind of constantly on the move, it seemed like, it seemed a very good way to put the audience in their world, really, in their, you know, footsteps.
And what was your favorite scene? I know it's hard to pick just one, but I know that question's a tough one.
Okay, my favorite thing goes back to the weather. My favorite thing is the last moment in the film where the sun comes out. That's pretty hard to time. I got really lucky.
That's without plot spoiling, that's very symbolic as well, so that's
it's
beautiful.
perfect. It's the only time the sun's really out in the film, and I really wanted it at that moment. At that tree, I wanted the sun come out. It came out at the perfect moment. I couldn't believe we got it.
That's a beautiful scene. And when you're filming a movie like this, and you're approaching it, and you're there, what's going through your head when you're down, when you have the cameraman in the trenches? Can you go over one of the most difficult scenes to film?
Well, it was hard. A lot of it, you know, I'm working a long way away on a remote head, so I'm controlling the head, where somebody else is carrying it. The camera and the head, and they're putting it on a crane or taking it off and running with it or whatever. And the most difficult thing of all of it was you'd go into like 4 minutes or 5 minutes and the tension would mount because you've got to get it right all the way up to the end of the cut, you know, 8 minutes or whatever. And then the end's got to be right because that's got to fit with the next coming take. So the pressure mounted up the longer the shot went on. That was really interesting. And when we got a good take, it was funny because everybody would look at each other and sort of go, wow, you know, it was really quite a high, you know.
What was the longest take? How many minutes?
I think it was about 9 minutes.
9 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. Which isn't, you know, I mean, sometimes you do a 9-minute take on another film, but
still,
to do it with a complexity and not have the option to cut, because usually if you've got you know, you do a 9-minute take and 4.5 minutes are just gold dust, then you shoot a cover shot so you can use that and then go on. You know what I mean? But here you couldn't. You'd have to go back to the start. So.
Did you ever get to almost to the end of the perfect sequence and then it blows up and you have to go back to...
There was one that was, there was a few words said because, somebody tripped at it was about 7 minutes in, I think, on something, and somebody tripped, and it was like, oh my God, that was so perfect. But then we did it again, and Sam said we did it again, and we did it better, so fine, you know.
Best Christmas present you've ever received?
Best Christmas present I've ever received? Oh, I can't think of one. God, that's terrible, isn't it?
Come on, nothing?
No.
All right. You can write me later and tell me. No worries. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.